Hey all, this is Jared again, your friendly neighborhood Syntech man, and we are going to jump into video number 3. So we just wrapped up stacked graphs, plant respiration, and irrigation analysis, root analysis, to talk about, how we analyze all those good things. And so next up, we are going to what everyone's been waiting for. I know this is so exciting, but I'm excited. It's a sum graph, and we're going to set a full point, a refill point, and a stress point on this video. So this is what everybody's been hanging out, wondering how to get this accomplished, and then we can set our gauges and really see at a click how to set up our IrriMAXLive and be able to see this for the rest of the season ready to go. So the rubber meets the road in this video. All suspense and ado is here. So hold your breath. It's going to be a wild ride. Eventually I will say something goofy enough that it'll go viral on one of these videos, but it's only between me and you. So good luck. Thanks. Now let's do a sum graph. Now this is where the rubber meets the road for most of us. We start in with a sum graph. And so we know this is V4, V5 corn. So we're going to go ahead and leave all of our sensors clicked here. And this is going to be a summed graph, and we do want to do it as a line. And so from there, we're just going to click OK. Save changes, and the next pane will appear. All right, so now we have this pane, and what this is doing is this is an interpolated sum. So our software is doing some interpretation for us here, but it's watching the entire profile from the top to the bottom, and it's summarizing what's actually going on with moisture as a whole. Now, from there, if we know what is going on with moisture as a whole in the profile, then we start talking about when is our next irrigation. So we know that the soil will hold at least this much water, if not significantly more, because we do not see sharp drops after the irrigation or rain events. We see a nice tabletop there. So I'm going to come over here to edit, and we're going to set a full point. And we know field capacity is going to be up here, probably even above this line, but it's a good point of reference for right now. And we just want to think these things through, do the best we can. More data means better set points. And this is not a lot of data. We have less than 2 weeks of data, or 12 days of data, which is not much data. If we had last year's, then that would be super duper helpful. So let's set a refill point. Now I would say, generally speaking, what we do is we come down here and we check this out and we go, okay, we can put our horizontal line up and we can say, all right, we know that we are pulling moisture from this level. We actually have seen it increase. We know we're pulling moisture at this level. We've seen that increase as well a little bit after this moisture event. So we know we have some moisture to play with, but we're probably getting fairly dry. At this point, if I had access to the field, I would go out and pull a core sample and see what I could feel as a soils guy. But I don't have access to the field. So I'm going to set our threshold. Let's set it at 1313. Just a little bit below. This will be our refill point. Save, close enough to 1313. And then we know that we've got a little bit before we hit stress. So let's set a stress point. And at our stress point, let's set our stress point in another 1311. That sounds good. Let's set it at 1311. Okay, 1311 and save. Go. All right, now we have our full point, our green zone, our refill point saying, hey, we need to get some water out there. And then we have a stress point down here below. Now, what's cool about this is we can jump out here. Oops. What did I do? I clicked the wrong button. Okay, so now that we've set our refill and our full and all that stuff, we can see that we have 6% of our moisture profile in the green left. It's time to start irrigating. It's time to start thinking about it. We probably are getting way too close to the refill point. We need to start initiating an irrigation, but we can click back in. That's good to go. So you can move these up and down as you see fit, and each operation is going to be a little bit different. All right, so once these lines go hard flat and you do not see them dropping anymore, there is no more room that you can see for them to drop, then you know you're at your stress point and you need to get irrigation. However, if we look way over here to the left-hand side on our horizontal line, we can see we still have moisture in this profile. We can mine some more. Okay, so we know, yeah, we're probably at a refill point, but we're not at stress yet. And this stress point probably a bit further down anyway. But to each his own. Everybody's got to make their own decisions, and I'm an extreme advocate for everyone making their own informed decisions. Now, let's add one more graph. This is the cool one. Everybody loves it. I like it too. It's a cool graph. And it is an irrigation analysis graph with all of our soil sensors, and it paints this really pretty picture when I hit Save Changes. So this is one of my favorite graphs, most people as well. As the roots are detected, it paints this picture to line up these bars with what we see down here below. And it says, up our roots, so we got a red color here saying, our irrigation did not quite irrigate enough. We needed some more water on this day. Our irrigation was not terribly effective. It did not penetrate down to this next level where we know our roots are. So we're going to call this a red. Take that for information. But if the irrigation pocket matches the root depth, then that bar right there will turn blue, saying you did a good job. So that is that's the next level. So we've talked about our respiration, we've talked about our irrigation pocket, we've talked about our root activity and how to set that up. We've talked about our sum graph. We added a full point, refill point, stress point, and then we added a irrigation analysis graph. See the cool little roots? That's pretty handy. Now, we did not do, our analytic software did not do a great job detecting these roots. However, let's jump into a different one, and I'll show you. This one is a few years old, but if we zoom in the middle of last year sometime. So this is what a season long would look like. So you got June, July, August, and so you can see the roots continuing to grow down in the irrigation analysis, and these guys are spoon feeding out that water, which is really cool. And you can see the irrigation pockets. You can see how they are using their irrigation and bouncing it off that refill point, but never getting to their stress. And then they top it off up here. You can see they went a little too heavy with the irrigation, trying to get it filled back up, and they actually lost some water on this deal. And then you can see it stair step right on down, irrigate back up, and then they got more in control at this point. Later on in the season, they lose a bit of control, probably an equipment breakdown if I had my guesses, and then they come back hard, irrigate, fill up that profile. All right, so that is the full picture on some graphs and irrigation analysis graphs, full points, refill points, and wilting points. Shoot me a message, let me know what you thought about that. And then next up, we will talk about adjusting the refill point as the season progresses, what we're looking for, be a bit more specific. We'll also talk about setting up growth stages and some pretty cool little details that set up in there. And then we will talk about losing irrigation water. Are we over irrigating off that bottom sensor, those type of things. And then talk about just details that we can put into the back end for our setup, so we keep our data straight and show what variety were we growing and what kind of details, you know, can we get out of this, because this year's cool, next year will be even that much better. So jump in with us next time and look forward to seeing you there. Shoot me an email, a phone call, or a message, and let me know what your thoughts are on this, or specifically if you have more questions, that would be great. Thanks. Bye.